the Football Pod on Off the Ball in partnership with AIB. Proud supporters of the AIB All-Ireland Club Championships for men's football, hurling, ladies football and camogie, because we believe support is what gets you the life you're truly after.
How are you doing? And you're very welcome back to the Football Pod. 1st of February, St. Bridget's Day. We're recording late on a Sunday night. I would like to say that the two boys are heading out to beer tonight, and that's why we have to record on Sunday and get it done. But that is not the way life has gone on the pod. Yeah. Hello, little lady.
Change, man. Time to change.
Lady.
She's still proud of the dogs in her top, despite today.
Look at that.
And has the Jimmy Centre down a Kerry jersey, will it?
Would she wear a Kerry jersey? The green and gold is suitor, actually. What jersey is that? That's not a retro-y kind of one, is it?
That's the Dubs.
That's the
I
latest
like
one.
the Dubs jersey this year. Yeah. It's like gone. It's based off the 83 team.
I haven't seen them yet this year, really, actually, to be fair.
Yeah,
so went on the box today, lads. There's a lot of disgruntled Dublin fans giving out about that one, like.
And they don't go to games, so they have to watch it on TV. Actually, that's a lie. That's not fair.
That's not true.
Whenever they come down to Tralee, there is a great buzz in Tralee, so they are good travelling fans.
Are you coming up 21st, Jimmy?
What's on?
Saturday night game.
Saturday night? The Kerry Dublin game?
There's a big crowd going in. There's a lot of chatter on the ex-players group. There's a bit of a night out that night, I'd say. So we'll go in and have a look. Saturday, 7 o'clock. Beautiful.
Look at you
these
two
days. I
giving
go
it
to
the
every
big one.
Kerry Dublin game because you'd be going up with a bit of a pep in your step.
Look at this. They're back.
We
beat a decade of it, so it's about time to give you a run at something like.
We have got a lot of football to get through tonight, boys. Edie is in Paddy's arm, so if you're on YouTube, you might catch the top of her head in the corner of the screen. But she's being very quiet this evening, so
for now,
you'll hear her if she pipes in at all. James, Paddy, interesting weekend. 2 rounds in, we're not going to get too carried away with ourselves, but there's some interesting trends developing about the place, right?
There is, absolutely. It's still, like, I think the leagues have gained importance and gained value. I think every manager wants to have a good national league now, whereas maybe a good few years ago it was just a case of, staying up or getting through it without too much attention. But I think they are more important now. But you can still see the teams have done a lot of physical work, which has to be done. It's key, but the skill levels are still, getting there. They're catching up. The ball is wet, it's cold, it's not travelling as far. The amount of dropped short shots is incredible at the moment. Every shot is being dropped short. It looks like the keepers are being worked overtime, but you can just see certain things getting a bit of airtime, but realistically it's just a matter of fellas getting their eye in, and you can tell that the ball hasn't been introduced too much in training just yet, I think.
Yeah, intense.
So it's hard to judge teams this early, but at the same time, it's still, the games are still so important, even if it's that early in the year.
This is the thing, Paddy.
That was the standout thing. Oh, sorry, go on, Tommy. Yeah.
But no, just panels are going to be cut now at the minute as well. We've a week break now, and fellas are trying to stake a claim, even though things aren't as they may be when the turf is that bit harder in the summer and the sun is shining and the ball is maybe moving that bit niftier and the skills are up. Fellas still have to show the right kind of intent.
Yeah, I think on Jimmy's point, right, back 4 or 5 years ago, like, I was looking at the game last night, the Armagh Galway game, 31st of January, like, and the intensity and speed and athleticism of both teams. Galway probably had to roll a few guys off the bench. Killian McDade was back, had a massive impact. We've seen Walsh and Matty Tierney coming on. They're kind of frontliners. But the condition these guys are in, I agree with you, they're not top of the pops just yet. But compared to what we'd have been like playing in January, we'd have been dragging the arse along the ground. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's a different way to look at things. Like, you would always have said, time in your run and all this stuff, and it's a 9-month season. And I think Tommy Walsh, Kilkenny did a brilliant piece, Tommy, during the week around Keith Tracy talking about his Kilkenny team, and it was a brilliant, if anyone hasn't seen them off the ball around, it wasn't even mentioned about peaking in that Kilkenny team. It was like every single time you were in training, you're on the pitch, you are flat to the mat and you kill someone. And there's a sense of, I got it from Armagh the first half. I thought they were brilliant until the breach and the Rob Finnerty goal kind of turned the tide. But the speed they were playing at, it was like, maybe it is a bit of a sprint these days. Maybe you can actually be training flat to the mat because it's a 7-month season, and not be worrying about, oh, we're going to ease off or anything like that. Because Armagh look like they're, and we've seen Donegal today as well, but their win over Kerry. I thought Kerry were moving pretty well as well. But teams are in great shape already. And maybe that's the new way it's going to be. That it is. You're going to be January, February, March. We're going to keep going. And we're going to go all the way through till July for these teams. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, but I suppose in theory, that is the better way to be. If you've nothing fitness-wise to worry about come March, the amount of skills you can work on, the amount of tactical plays you can work on, you're not eating into your calendar with fitness work. Now, I presume obviously they're going to have blocks throughout the season, but like you really do need time to sharpen your skills come Croker. Like you need to be sharp as hell with the ball. So I think you need the time for that as well. Like that's not a given. The good fellas have put an unmerciful amount of time into that all year.
Yeah, we're going to be going through some of the big games from the weekend, right? And these teams that we're talking about are going to come up. I was at Dublin and Mayo, and it was a really, really interesting game. We might get stuck into it in a little while, but something really interesting that's come out of it, and I think it's probably true for a lot of panels at the minute and where they're at, but Ger Brennan in particular, like clearly the Dubs are in a state of transition, but after the game, really frank. There was about 7 or 8 of us in the room chatting to him afterwards, talking about the fact that he's about 50 boys in the panel and he'll be cutting that very soon. And he ain't just talking about the new boys or the lads on the fringes. He's talking about fellas that have been around the blocks, fellas that have won All-Ireland medals, essentially. Didn't go specifics. I don't think he went for Con. Con obviously had a bit of a hamstring injury today, but it's just interesting, right? A little bit of the quote that he would have given us earlier on. I would suggest probably some of our fellas who've been around the block, that there will be a few tough decisions to be made about them. They're all good lads, but they have to ask themselves whether they want it or not. You make those decisions looking through at the data, through looking at the contributions that fellas are making on and off the pitch, and your eyes don't lie. If a guy has done what he's done over the last couple of years, it's probably decision time for a few of those boys in terms of what they want to do. And that is something that's on our mind at the moment as a management team. So he went into some of the young lads then that are making a difference. Ger Brennan made 3 subs in the first 30 minutes today, lads, against Dublin or against Mayo. They were only a couple of points down or a point or two down, or they were leading at different stages. But clearly there is a ruthless kind of a vibe around their setup at the minute.
Yeah, and that's like people might have preconceived ideas of Ger, like anyone who would have met him over the years. He is a very affable guy, very personable, but make no bones about it. He's, and I'm sure the loud players can testify to this, he's ruthless when it comes to it, and that's ultimately that's what's required here. Like there's no ambiguity around what's the challenge ahead of Dublin. We said it, and everyone's talking about it, that this is it's a new team, it's a new dawn, a new generation of players, and with that becomes really tough times. We've seen it, 2 tough results last week and then today in Castlebar, but he'll have no bones about making some tough decisions, and that's ultimately what's needed in that group. And it's not the tone of the questions there was around. The easy thing to do was kind of maybe some of the guys who've been on or cup teams or not frontliners, but I think we're going to see some more experienced guys, as Jared said there, their heads are going to roll, and that sets the tone in the rest of the group as well. So
it'll be interesting.
He'll be disappointed if one of our favourite players goes, but no, I think there's going to be some players who are looking over their shoulder this week, because reality, he was pretty frank again, not just about the cutting players, but around the performances. He said the middle 8 last week were not good enough against Donegal. That's one of the top teams in the country. We discussed it briefly last week. Jerry's going to hold this group to All-Ireland winning standards. And the reality is there's a few guys there who are not at that. And they're guys who are going to be getting a call, a tap on the shoulder next week,
But
James,
like the time, I know we're saying it's a long season and all that, but is it after? Because we heard that Dublin were doing like these trial matches and they were trying out loads and loads of players. Now they have a panel of 50, I think he was saying. Like, that 50 needs to become a tight group, a tight bonded group of 28, 28 to 30. Like, he needs to shed a lot of weight in that group. And, time is ticking. And I think he'll probably have to make even maybe one or two wrong decisions just to get where they have to be. As a player, you might be actually unfortunate to be dropped, but if he has to shed 20 players off a panel with the Bowden fellas coming back and everything, then he has to do it. He has to be ruthless.
On your point, Jimmy, like, I agree, you need to get a panel down tight because it's a new team. You need to bond together, you need to get combinations. But you have to go through the first phase, of looking at 50 or 60 players. That's what those trial games, Ger had to kind of scour the county for. That's what people were demanding, because the group that had been there for the best part of a decade, 20 players are gone. So you've got to have a look at these guys. The condensed season, like the fact that Burn Cup was really good. We've seen the squad and that. There was no frontliners in that. And if 35 guys there, you're looking, can you get 5 of them that could possibly step up? And we've seen it's such a massive step up. And this is where the balance between, is Division 1 a really good place to be for these players? You can say, well, they're testing themselves against the best players and the best teams. But there's also, like we've seen it last week in Croke Park against Donegal, that middle eight Ger alluded to, and we've seen it again today in Castlebar. It's also ruthless, like, and there's players who have stepped up there, and it's like they are not ready for that. So this was the tough task that is involved in trying to rebuild a team, a high-profile team, and a team still with supporters and a legacy of trying to compete for All-Irelands. But it's a massive task, and that's what's ahead of there. He's under no illusion, but there's going to be some tough conversations for players who maybe are not expecting it. But
it's interesting. I agree. Like, these games are so intense, right? And the manager's neck is on the block, right? It is. Whether they like it or not, I know we're saying so in the league, but they're under pressure. Like, the media coverage of these games now is huge. It's one thing being a young player and being thrown into an experienced team as maybe one of 2 or 3 changes and 12 very strong fellas, and you're kind of feeding off them. It's very, very different being one of 8 newbies or 9. I mean, the difference there is immeasurable. So, like, it is very difficult this time of year when you're coming into an unsettled team to go in and play your best stuff.
You look, Jimmy, like Dublin's whole half back line and their 2 midfielders last week against Donegal was brand new. Like, Tom Hiff was there, who's been around, but the other 4 guys across the half back line and Ethan Dunn, like, that's their first ever game. Maybe the first time in Croker for some of them. And they're playing Hugh McFadden, Michael Lang, Jason McKee, the Donegal team, so well oiled. So it's ruthless, but that is the standard. That is the standard, unfortunately.
James, I don't know, did you hear what Mick Bahan, who would have been involved with Paddy in Dublin, and obviously the Dublin women's team would have set the standards there for so many years, said, and Paddy, you come in on this off the back end of it as well, but at the weekend he was talking about this transition that the Dubs have, right? And he referenced Aidan O'Shea and the fact that O'Shea is 35, nearly 36. I think he's your go, James. He's 1990 or around that age, same age as yourself.
30,
and the
so
fact
28.
that now this is making it really simplistic. It's making it really simplistic, but obviously
it was a great point, Tommy. I seen the piece.
Yes,
and it was very good.
Just in case someone missed it, O'Shea has still got that itch, that craving, that hunger to win that All-Ireland medal, as many do in Mayo, and others in other counties do. And maybe that's what's fueling him to keep coming back in the shape that he's in and giving that impact. But on the flip side of it, you had this Dublin crew who filled their pockets and won so much together for such a long time that can sap the energy, and maybe that want just doesn't exist for a cohort of them anymore. And I put it to Brennan afterwards, and he said, this is the question we're asking, boys. Do they want it?
Well, I mean, of the panel that's left, I mean, there's not that many of them who have cleaned up like that. Most of that golden, generation or those unbelievable.
Why did you do golden in inverted commas there?
Because I'm quoting you. That's what you say of us golden generation.
We label ourselves the golden generation.
But like,
that's the name of the WhatsApp group.
I don't think there's that many left, is there? But I get his point, definitely. Like, when you're chasing something like that, I mean, Aidan Shea must have so much motivation to get over the line, and he must see that possibility of getting it as well. It's not like he's on a fool's errand. Like, they have a chance this year, but Yeah, I know. I don't really know how to answer that, because every time you play for a Kerry or a Dublin or a Tyrone or a Derry or a Mayo, like that game in isolation is the most important thing in the world to you. It's not like you're thinking, "Oh fuck it, we won the All-Ireland there 2 years ago." Do you know? I do get his point, but if that has seeped into Dublin, then you would definitely be very worried for them. If the motivation, the hunger is somehow gone, I'd question if it is. I don't think it is. I think that the standard of player has definitely reduced. Like, just from watching bits of their games, the players are not of the same level yet. They're in an unbelievable period of transition, and a lot of work to do. Is it a hunger thing? I don't know. I mean, the players that they had before during that spell of All Ireland's,
They had reckless depth.
I
Like
mean, the
John Small
talent
said it
was
during the week.
incredible.
John Small said it during the week. He felt at times that the Dublin B squad, I don't want to quote him wrong here, but at times they were.
That's bullshit. The Dublin B team could have won the All-Ireland.
No, he didn't
If
say
that
that
was what you were going to say, right?
No, he didn't.
We'll
He didn't
log
say that.
off.
But
That's
I
in
think
the Golden Generation WhatsApp group.
But I think he was saying the strength of that Dublin B team were as strong as maybe the fourth or fifth in the country.
No,
well,
that's
yourselves, Mayo, Tyrone, Dublin were going toe to toe. Who else was close?
If you get back to reality here, right? You look at what Pádraig Joy spoke about Paul Conroy as well. This is ongoing at the minute, and it's a similar type thing. You look at Paul Conroy as he definitely is a child. I know a couple of kids, like he's been on the go since 07, 08 as well, similar to Aidan O'Shea. Like, if Galway had got over the line, in that Armagh final, I think Paul Conroy would definitely be gone. It's when you're chasing something and it's right there in front of you. It's that is the extra motivation, and the famous Michael Jordan, the last dance, that whatever you need to do to be motivated. And I think it was a very good point that Mick Bahan made during the week, and that's the question mark for. Does your case as well, Jimmy? I agree. It'd be very close. Like Kieran Kenny, Conor Callan, these guys, I've no doubt they're still flat to the mad for a road. But what Ger is trying to identify is there's a whole new generation he has to bring through, and what we've seen to date, it's going to take these guys a lot of time, if at all, they can get to that level. And then he's got the other end of the scale where it's like, here's 7 or 8. There's probably maybe more. Is there probably about 10 guys? I think Paddy Small, Niall Scully. There is actually still a decent cohort who have won 5 or 6 All-Ireland medals.
Yeah.
So it's like, are these guys still absolutely up for the fight? Because it's a different fight. And Brian Fenton alluded to this when he walked away. It's a different fight now than it was, if you've won 4 All-Irelands, you're going for 5 in a row. You've got 30 brilliant players around you. This is like, Dublin are going to have some tough days, and it's a totally different challenge than maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So it's just the evolution of the team, and that's why I felt Ger and the way he's going about it and the way he will go about it, the whole thing needed a reset for older guys, for younger guys, for club players, for everything like that. But it is going to be fucking bumpy. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
And today, unfortunately, was the latest part of that, just being outclassed down in Castlebar.
I'll give you a quick run through while we're here of this Mayo Dublin game. It wasn't televised. There was 15,197 in McHale Park. There was a decent cohort of Dublin fans down the road, James. They were on the terrace side on one end of the field. Some of the quick notes from it, right? Mayo racked up 118 again. Impressive scoring, but by God, did they leave an awful lot behind them. Evan Comerford was really impressive on the kickouts. Got a lot of short kickouts out, but twice in the first half. And I was trying to figure out, and I asked Andy Moran about it afterwards, had they been laying traps? Twice in the first half, 2 of his short kickouts got snared by a Mayo fella. Kick pass straight into a full forward, 1-on-1 with the keeper, butchered the goal chance. One of them come from makes a brilliant save. I think James Carr's one in the first half that he had to square to the back post. He had a 2-on-1 at the back post. He didn't do it. It got saved as well. Carroll another goal chance in the second half. Really good as a target man. Maybe didn't deliver on the scoreboard, but definitely created 3 or 4 big chances off him. Ryan O'Donoghue, who had 11 lads. What a difference this boy makes at 11. The only downside you could say to is that he's making tackles in his own full back line. He's catching a defensive mark when it looked like the Dubs might get a goal when they were pumping in ball late on. And Andy Moran was asked about that afterwards too. And he was like, if you're in my 3 up, no problem. You stay back up there. You mind yourself for the attack and play. But if you're in that middle 8, you got to work as hard as everybody else. So that's the kind of the trade-off there when you've got Ryan O'Donoghue at 11, that he may not have as much energy going forward. But he hit a lovely 2-pointer in the first half, was knitting a lot of it together, is involved in the sending off for Sean McMahon that had a big bearing on the game that we'll come back to. It was of the soft variety. 2 other players worth mentioning. 3. Sam Callanan, who played a lot of football in fullback last year, out around the half-back line, freed up, kicked 2 points, couple of blocks, having a big impact. Bob Toohey in midfield. This guy didn't get much of a look in the last couple of years in the McStay era. Got his debut, didn't get many minutes. Lads, this boy could be a revelation for Mayo this year. Big guy in midfield, left-footed, opens up that side of the field.
Rules kind of suit him, T. You could see it last week as well. He's a big, big lump, and every team has to have one of them guys.
Yeah.
Not to do him at the surface, but he could be a very useful type player for Mayo.
100%. And finally, young Dara Byrne. We mentioned him last week. You asked me, James, is he still under 20? He is still under 20. He's the same goal as Tomas Kennedy. Just so natural. Like, his goal in the second half was a big one. Cormac Costo rattles the underside of the crossbar. The Dubs come out in the second half. Costo rattles the underside of the crossbar. McMahon is sent off a minute or two later. And then after that, Dara Byrne sides through the defence, and it's this lovely low finish into the bottom corner when Mayo had butchered 4 or 5 goal chances before that. So that was really impressive again, and he's just got this natural knack in there. For the Dubs, Paddy would be happy to hear that young Jack Lundy, same club as Luke Brannock, really, really tasty. Physically, maybe not there, but in terms of foot passing, James, you want to see, like, you'll see the goal later on. It's kind of like that, maybe the passes you guys used to do in the full forward line in Kerry, where you'd have one corner forward on the wing playing a ball across the 21 to maybe the full forward there. It was like a lovely kind of a direct kind of a angled ball in, and he played it to his clubmate Luke Brannock, who finished early doors. So Jack Lundy and Luke caught the eye in that first half, but clearly things weren't going well in the Dublin middle third because they made all those changes. You saw the sending off. It was a little soft.
It's hard to see
Tommy,
on the
of course
video.
it was. Come on, call it as it is. That was soft.
Yeah.
Violent conduct, I would say it was.
I'll back you up.
Severe violent conduct. No, I actually can't see it.
Arsene
Wenger. I did not see. I actually, from the video you sent on, Tom, it's actually very hard to see.
It is. There was
just
coming together.
I don't think there's a lot in it. I don't think there's a lot in that.
It's like a push. It's a push in the back, right? You can see it there, James. I think it's Ryan O'Donoghue and Owen Merchant on the ground having a bit of a skirmish, giving a little bit to each other. And Sean McMahon is the third man in. Now, you'll be aware that there's a new rule that if you are the third man in, there is
Merch is only a little fella, Tommy. So Sean McMahon is just coming in. Merch is tiny. He's gone, right, let's figure this out. And that's it. Yeah. And no player would make a deal out of that. Between three experienced
the red
lads.
For the push in the back, is it?
He got the red for a push in the back. Yeah, it was seemingly the fourth official highlighted to the referee that there was a striking action from a Dublin player. So if it's for a striking action, it's pretty soft.
Tommy, you said a red for a push in the back. That's it.
Hey man, don't be blaming me. I'm just saying it was of the soft variety.
We all agree so.
Yeah,
we all agree.
Yeah, I think so. But Mayo with 2 wins from 2, and the Dubs 0 for 2. They've got Monaghan next, and they've got Kerry, I think, after that. Mayo are away to Donegal next and are facing Kerry shortly after that. So let's get on to the other Division 1 games before we go around the grounds. Earlier today, Roscommon had a big win against Monaghan. I'll be covering the Rossies' next game against Armagh, which will be a really interesting one. But big win for Roscommon today. A blow to them that Cian McKeown is ruled out for the rest of the league. But Enda Smith today scoring 2-2. Darren Craig again with 4 points. Diarmaid Murtagh with 1-5. The big boys all delivering. So decent result from there. And Monaghan in a bit of a pickle there at the bottom of the table alongside the Dubs. Elsewhere, James, we might just go to Saturday night because it was a pretty interesting one between Armagh and Galway. As Paddy said earlier, Armagh looking really good for a lot of it. But
great game. It's a great game, lads.
It was a great game.
Yeah, enjoyable, wasn't it?
Both teams were flying it. Both teams were, and it came down to the goals. 3-12, 15 scores. Armagh kicked 20 scores, but yet the 15 scores win. The 3-12 wins the game. Now I know Finnerty's goal was obviously very soft, but there's a reason that it's 3 points for a goal. Like we'll get back to probably the hand passing issue where Armagh, I think it was 7 fisted points they had in the end. Like I know that we don't want to harp on about it, but it is an
let
issue.
It off. Now,
James, come on.
This is your kryptonite, like. How many of those 7 points would you have went for Galway?
I got tagged. I got tagged in 4 tweets immediately at full time about James and the fisted point. So, James,
I
have
have
your
no
say,
problem
because
with a
Kieran
fisted
McGeeney
point.
is listening. By the way. He is
Fisted
listening.
points and Macassar gloves are Jimmy's kryptonite.
Yeah, I have no problem with a fisted point, but at the same time, I would have gotten rid of the fisted point when we had the chance with the rule changes. Nobody goes to a footballer match, right, to see some fella run in next to the goal and fist it over. Like, you go for high fielding, you go for a shoulder where you can, cheer it, you go for tackling, you go for a long range free off the ground, you go for a fella taking on a man, you go for a long range 2-pointer, you go for a goal, that you want to see goals. We do not want to see fellas short goal chances and hand pass the ball over the bar. It's as simple as that. Like, we could have improved the game. I think that a fisted point is just not what we want to see. Now, at the same time, there is a place for it. In the last minute of a game, you're level and you work a clever score. Brilliant. That's invaluable. But I mean, midway through the second round of the National League, there's no need to be fisting a point, in my opinion. No,
Tommy,
there's a reason.
I think we should put out the recording before we went on air. Jimmy's less diplomatic take on this.
No, we can't do that.
I think in defence, like Gerald O'Byrne gets some brilliant scores. Armagh get a couple of scores in the first half as well, where you're coming in at an angle. You're after running 70 yards with the ball, you're at the end of a team play, and you're going to get absolutely hosed over the end line, so you fist it over the bar. I think the big one yesterday, or on Saturday night, yesterday, the Jason Duffy one was one I was looking at. I've scored 50 points myself, lads. It would be rich of me to say.
We all have, to be fair, yeah.
But that one is in the middle of the goal with a man on either side of you. I think if you're in the middle of the goal, you've got to go. If you're coming in the end line at an angle, it makes sense. But I think they look back. I just thought that was a bad decision. I thought it was poor decision making. And McGeeney's obviously going to defend them, which is fair enough. But that was the one that stuck with me. I think that was a bad play.
Yeah. Well, I saw McGeeney's interview. I thought it was, his answer was very good. It was like, I don't tell anybody to not go for goal or to go for goal. Obviously you make your own decision, which is 100% right. But like, a goal is 3 points. A fisted point is 1. Like, surely there are times in the game where you take the risk of the 3. Now, there's obviously a lot more skill involved in going for a goal, but like, surely you have to trust your skills there at some stage and say, I'm going to go for a goal. Now, that said, Finnerty did at the end of about 65 minutes gone. Finnerty runs through and he takes a shot from a tight angle, a difficult one, but it was exciting. It was good to see him actually risk it. I just think 7 points is an awful lot. I think that if they risked a little bit more, they could have racked up a huge score.
And that's an interesting point, okay, right? Because you're talking about risk here. And McGeeney spoke about, in that interview with Conor Parkinson and the back and forth with Conor Parkinson, like he's saying, like, we've had goal chances before, or a chance before, we've gone for goal and we've missed and we've lost games, So, as James said, I trust the lads to make the right decision, okay? But James, you're talking about the risk, right? And the skill set. Kind of what we're seeing now, and I refer back to just a really smart move that didn't really get talked about last week in the Kerry game, just before Kennedy's winner that got all the coverage with the hooter. Kerry had an advantage in around the 21, okay? They knew they had an advantage. They had a chance to work a 1, and they worked the ball back out to David Clifford for a 2. It's clearly a set-piece move. And I'm not sure if you caught Rory Kinsla's goal for Meath today, but there's a foul in around the 21. He knows he has an advantage from the referee, and he has the skill set, because it's a free shot, really, but he goes for goal and he lobs the keeper from 25 yards out in an angle. So when we're talking about risk and a culture thing, but will this come into the game as fellas and players? And in the women's football now, we saw the first 2-pointer kick last week as well. Will this cultural thing start to shift, that people will actually throw off the shackles a little bit more and work on their skills to actually go for it?
Like that, it does come down to your skill level and what's inside in you. Like, if you're visualizations become a huge thing. You're in the hotel before the game and you're doing a bit of visualization. You're not thinking about running through and fisting the ball over the bar. Do you know what I mean? You're surely...
Hey, speak for yourself, Jimmy. Speak for yourself.
And whatever you manifest, Paddy, happens. Surely you're thinking, I'm going to go in there.
What have you been watching lately? Where are you getting? Are you on the fucking Diary of a CEO again? You've been following Jake Humphrey on LinkedIn. That's what's happening. Tommy, get him off. Take away his LinkedIn subscription.
He was making me cry. No, but I'm just saying that how are fellas actually getting in the position where they're constantly reverting to fisting the ball over? Surely, like if you're getting excited as a young fella about football, you're thinking about scoring goals. You're
Yeah, or
thinking
two.
about, as a forward, you're thinking about running through and opening your body and putting it in to the corner, and off you go then. I just think we're missing a trick. If anything, put it down to half a point to fist a point. It has to be reduced now. It's gone so bad.
Going
That's just
Outside
my
of
opinion.
it's the
that,
point to half
outside of
point.
that, because there's loads to cover. That was a brilliant game. That was a
Yes.
very, very, very entertaining, exciting game. Galway, and straight up, lads, and this may not be the most groundbreaking thing. The winners of the All Ireland are going to come from either that game or what we've seen in Ballyshannon today.
Do you reckon?
I think they're streets ahead. I think those four teams are streets ahead. Armagh will be kicking themselves. Or will they even be? Like, Armagh are not going to get relegated from Division 1.
No.
So,
Think they got enough out of that?
would they be arsed about winning it or not? It would be nice to do it. But I think McGeeney will take enough from that. For 25 minutes, they were sumptuous. They were absolutely cutting through Galway. That style of play. And McGeeney, you get sense he's nearly frustrated afterwards. He's saying it's a bit like basketball, but that's the rules. You think he'd like to be a bit more.
He said that last year as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
He
Don't think
wasn't
he's
certain of the
complaining.
rules.
No, but I think it frustrates him that they have to be like Galway's 3 goals. Okay, Finnerty's 1. It's such a momentum swing as well. Like from a breach, like whatever. It's another thing. Breaches. They're nearly kind of players were let away with them last year. They were given away, but no one really gave out about it. Coaches were like, "Oh, we're learning the rules and everything like that." I think if you give away a breach now, that is a fucking cardinal sin for the team. Because at inter-county level, it's 2 points. No one at inter-county level is missing. They're going to bring it back out to the top of the 40-metre arc, and it's a 2-point swing. And just by last night, Blaine Hughes has a bit of a howler, and it ends up being a 3-point swing. And that was at the time when Armagh were absolutely dominating Galway, and that swings the game for them. So the breach is one thing. If I was a coach, there's no pass now. Like the rules are in a year. If you make that fuck up, that is just an unbelievable sin to make against your team. But for Armagh, back to them on the positive side, they're a little bit open when they turn the ball over in the first phase, and that's where they looked a bit vulnerable, and that's where Kieran Malloy's goal comes from. But if they slowed Galway down at all, and Galway didn't score off that first phase, I thought they were really well set defensively as well. Even Turbot, who's in that number 11 role, we've seen Sean O'Shea today putting in a brilliant all-round display as well on the defensive side, playing out at number 11. So I think there were so many positives for Armagh from last night, despite not winning the game. And fist the points aside, that'll be the headlines that people are talking about. But I think McGeeney would be pretty happy with the 25, 30 minutes of that game. Armagh looked absolutely top class. The running game, McQuillan, Jarly Og, Connaughty is just going from strength to strength. Just hands. O'Neill a full forward. What about Rain O'Neill? We don't need him anymore. We've got the other one. Just kicking the two-pointer. So Armagh, I think, right in the mix. And Galway on the other side, to win, again, Joyce wouldn't have been overly concerned about last week losing that game at Salt Hill. And if they won or lost last night, I think he's given a lot of guys a go. He's already started putting guys back in. Killy McDade looked really good last night, lads. You know, he's had his injuries. He gets back to that form they can get. Shane Walsh, Rob Finnerty, like Oisín Connaughty, he's named the All-Stars he wins, just gives him an extra set of confidence as well. So I honestly think the 4 teams we've seen, even though it's January, I think they look streets ahead of the rest of the pack.
Yeah, I think that like every game now comes down to still a couple of moments, and the last kick out, the break that Shane McGrath wins to tip to McDade, where he jumps at it and just flicks it. Whoever wins that ball has the attack to win the game.
Probably wins the game, yeah.
Yeah, so we talk about everything else, about this happened, that happened. It actually, you can simplify it all down to that one ball where a fella has to put his absolute life on the line. And he put his head in there. Like, get to dive with his head and kind of flick it with his hand. It was an unbelievable break to McDade. And then obviously McQuillan doesn't leave him take the solo and go on. The free is brought up in a little bit later. But like that was a great play. But it was interesting because obviously we spoke about Dublin making early subs. Like Joyce Joyce whipped fellas early as well. He was like, I'm not sitting through this. I'm bringing on McDade. I'm bringing on Tierney. I think there was 28 or 9 minutes gone. And he said, I've seen enough. I need to get these fellas in.
They were getting hosed, Jimmy. They were getting hosed. And
yeah,
if you
they
have
were.
those,
They were.
they're going to
But, do you know, as a manager, there's a bit of risk to that substitution as well, because you're really risking fellas, you know, if you still lose the game, you know, there's going to be people questioning your decision. So the fact that they won the game, it kind of validates those decisions as well, which is very important. And in terms of, I thought that in terms of who played very, very well for Galway on the winning side, like if you think about big plays and big moments and what it came down to, Finnerty was involved in so much good teamwork. He's such a clever player. He doesn't do anything stupid. He's actually very similar to the way we spoke about Paul Geaney during the club season. He set up the 2 goals for Malloy and for Tierney, and then obviously he gets his own fortuitous goal. But just little get it, show, hand pass, you know, nice, easy play, but so effective. And I think he just really is carrying that leadership role at the moment. I think he's playing brilliant stuff.
So.
He's gone up a level, hasn't he? He's one of the top scorers in the game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I know you kind of alluded to it as well, but the likes of McQuillan and Burns and Connerty, they're just made for this new game as well. Let's move on, lads.
And just a shout out as well, because Andrew Moran has kind of reinvented himself out at midfield. He's had an unbelievable impact on. I thought it was brilliant last night, but he has 3 balls dropped short. You know, it's himself. It's like
they're all doing it though. It's just like they're not kicking at the ball.
But for him, the frustration, just like he's nearly trying to guide it. You know, he's been there. When I had it early in my career as well, they're trying to nearly guide the ball over the bar. You're decelerating coming in. Tommy is a golf fan. Can't do that around the greens. Drops them short, but his impact on the game outside of that, the finishing will come. I think there's a guy who's brilliant in the air, and the rules are suiting him with these kickouts.
Yeah. Do you know, it's interesting that McGeeney is playing Blaine Hughes back in goals. Is that going to be for the year, I wonder? Like,
no.
You don't think so? Because if you go back to the Kerry game in the quarterfinal last year, I mean, that game got a lot of traction in terms of kickouts in the second half. Yeah. No, Rafferty was came on full forward. Have they completely changed?
Hughes
it's going to be interesting to see what he does with the goalie position.
Hughes'
2 great goalies, 2 brilliant goalies.
Yeah, absolutely. Hughes' strength is absolutely his kick out, and he definitely pride himself on that, and the variety he can bring with it. McGeeney did speak about Rafferty being named as an outfield player, and he wasn't committing to it. He was talking about Galway being such a big team and them lacking a bit of size at the minute in Armagh, and they needed that bigger presence in Rafferty. I don't know whether that's just
him on after 66.
Yeah, so just having the option, I suppose, of him. But
I think Rafferty has been hounding him in the off season. I want the game outfield, and he's kind of appeasing him for the first couple of rounds.
Do you think?
I think Rafferty's going to be going.
Okay,
into the championship.
Let's move on briefly, lads. Do you know what? We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with all right, James, will you run us through Donegal-Kerry here, right? Because it's a repeat of the All-Ireland final, but I think Jack O'Connor, when we get into the mind games element of it, pulled a bit of a stroke here. Neither of the Cliffords named, so like, is anyone in Kerry even counting this as a rematch of the All-Ireland final? Donegal don't really get the real win here, do they?
I don't think it was ever classed as a rematch of the All-Ireland. I think McGuinness would have played that down as well, but I think everyone and their dog knew that Donegal were going to win that game today, including Jack, the management team. And I think he didn't, if I'm thinking cynically, and I am Kerry, but I'm thinking he didn't want to give Donegal that, you know, even with Clifford, I think he thought that Donegal would probably beat them. Where Kerry are at the moment.
Top-class stuff. This is great stuff.
I genuinely think that, like, McGuinness and Donegal.
Hugo is 2 years of age and he's rolling his eyes.
But they would have been fair psyched up for that game this week. You know, Donegal would have had Kerry coming to town, and Kerry turned up. They were missing Shane Ryan, Tom Sullivan, Brian Begley, Gavin White, Mark O'Shea, Diarmuid O'Connor, Paddy Clifford, David Clifford, Dylan Geaney, Paul Geaney. Like, as much as you want to take from a win, it's hard when you kind of have an asterisk next to it that they're missing that many. So I think the Kerry will be delighted to get out of there, only losing by 4 points. When there was 7 in it at one stage, I was not worried, but I was thinking, lads, you need to. you need to really row in here to make sure that they don't pull away, because no one wants to go away with a 10-point loss. The fact that it was 5 points, they battled unbelievably hard with a weakened team, and to get out of there with only a 4-point loss. And I don't think that Donegal can take much from it. You know, Jim McGuinness would be able to spin that if they had turned up with Clifford, you know, with a few more, with Gavin White, with Brian Begley, and Donegal had beaten them. I think that would give fuel to Donegal going forward. I think they would genuinely take a lot from it, but I don't think there's too much to be taken from it. But Donegal are by far and away the best team in the country at the moment.
Okay,
and
interesting.
Even the Kerry supporters going up to the game, no one expected a Kerry win, you know, and I think the result was actually a good result.
Yeah, I obviously didn't catch this game, so I'm relying on the fine analysis from the two ye. But the most important element of the Kerry performance today was the fact that as I was coming down the M18, the Kerry kitman's van passed me at 7 p.m. there. So how he made it down from there in Ballyshannon to there on the way home to Kerry is very, very impressive. Clearly, there must be points on the horizon this evening in Listowel or Dingle or something like that. But anyone else stand out, James, from that game? Or do you want to leave it at that? Is there any other elements of it? I know Donegal had a couple of their younger stars getting another run out today. Shane Malone started, Kieran Gallagher started, both of them from the Glenties club.
Yeah,
Connell.
Both were very good. It was interesting to see Murphy back, obviously, and you know, Donegal. I thought Donegal were solid. I think they did what they always do. You know, the crowd were into it. Was there 9,000 Donegal fans? I don't think there was many Kerry up there. You know, I just heard that it was huge support for Donegal, and obviously Kerry didn't have a massive crowd. So you're really going into the Lions' Den. But Donegal they're looking good. You know, they're looking good. Donegal, they have the bit between the teeth. They would have been, you know, hurt last year. A lot of criticism.
Jimmy, tell me you're letting him. I was Jack O'Connor on the show here tonight. Is that actually take that mask off, Jack? Jesus, right.
What? Donegal are playing well.
Brilliant.
Donegal are by far and away the best team in the country at the moment.
What is this?
Do you not think so?
And Conor O'Donnell were very good, I thought, for Donegal. And genuinely, as a neutral here, I was actually first half I was impressed with Kerry, I have to say. On the defensive side, they did a bit of a breeze behind them. Thought Sean O'Shea was outstanding today.
He was.
In all aspects of the game. That was a guy who was up for it. He absolutely nails Kieran Moore in the first half. With a shoulder in his own 21, causes a bit of argy-bargy, but it was just Sean, he was up for that match today. And great to see him. He had a quite enough season last year outside of the tour de force against Armagh in the honour of the quarter-final, but he was back to his best today. But for Kerry, defensively, I thought Donegal are hard to play against, but they get that running game. They're very patient on the ball. You need to be so switched on. You need to be really aggressive. You need to be tagging runners. I thought Kerry did all of that in the first half, and just for like 2 or 3 minutes before half time, they're 8-6 up. You know, and I thought they showed a hunger and an edge to their game, which is not always there with Kerry. That's the question mark around them. And if they have that going on into the season, we know they've all the other stuff up on the pitch when the big lads come back. But they ran about a bit of puff in the second half, which can happen. But I think Jack O'Connor's not going to be awfully concerned with that today. I thought
I'd be delighted
for Kerry. And the same for Jim McGuinness' side as well. Win the game. And they have Murphy and Gallen to come back. You've listed off 100 Kerry players who are missing, but Donegal have a few boys to come back too. So, like between those 4 teams, Donegal, Kerry, Armagh, Galway, they seem just well ahead of the rest of that.
But like, I'm not being any bit critical of Kerry here, but like, Donegal could have won that game by 10 or 12 points. Like, there was a stage where they could have run away with it. And if you look at what Kerry actually got in the end, from play, I think Shawnee gets a 1 from play, Tony gets 2 2-pointers from play, and Heinrich gets a point from play. So, like, they had to work really hard. Shawnee had an unbelievable day on the freeze. Like, he was kicking so well. Tony was kicking well as well. Those 2-pointers kind of kept Kerry tipping over. I don't know why you're not agreeing with Paddy, because I think Donegal would have been a team. I think Donegal are far and away the best team in the country at the moment.
Ballyshannon a hard place to go. We'll have many minutes to go for a win. 2009, Tommy.
Yeah,
Get it out
I don't
there.
think I ever.
I'll
played
dig it out. We'll have plenty of time to get stuck into more Kerry Dublin chat across the season, I'm sure. The Football Pod is brought to you with thanks to AIB, proud sponsors of the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship. Support for the life hereafter. We're back after this with a roundup of everything else that happened in the world of Gaelic football. You're very welcome back to the Football Pod with Paddy Andrews, James O'Donoghue, and myself, Tommy. We just ran through a big weekend, and Edie. Edie's with us too. I forgot Edie there. Sorry, Edie. Big smile for us. You'll be able to see that on our YouTube, popping her head up every so often, smiling away. Okay, top of Division 1, as we mentioned, Mayo, Donegal. Bottom of Division 1, Dublin and Monaghan. Plenty of football still to be played. Division 2, Cork are sitting pretty on points difference at the top of Division 2. They had a really good win away to Louth today. And Meath just about saved themselves with a late salvo.
Great
from Jack
finish.
Flynn and Morris. Oh,
Jack Flynn must have the longest kick in the country. He's kicking that ball out of Breffney Park. Jesus Christ.
2 feet off the ground. It looked like it just looked textbook. A great kick, wasn't it?
Beautiful kick.
And he turned down Jordan Morris. Do you know, like, you think
did.
that Jordan Morris would be, I'm having this, because he was actually running with his left. He would have taken it from the middle of the arc. And Jack said, "No, I'm going here on my own." It was unbelievable score.
See the scenes after there. See Robbie Brennan, Carl Manning, all the lads on the side, all the subs. Like, there's just a buzz. That team has an energy about them.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the start of it's not just the start. It's like it's a team where they're all on the same page and they feel like the sky's the limit. I'd say it's an exciting group to be in, and it's only a league game, but they just seem like there's a buzz around that group. They're in a good place, that made football team. Unfortunately,
Bank holiday Sunday. Do you reckon there's a lot of teams 2 weeks now to the next game going out in the beer this weekend? Bit of a early league bonding session happening.
Back in the day, this would have been a night out. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if the young lads do it these days.
I can confirm that the Mayo boys are definitely haven't taken the foot off the gas this evening. Having a couple of pints, nothing too hectic.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same as before. I reckon it's, a couple of pints, maybe an hour or two. Fellas mind themselves now. It has.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the fellas are definitely more cautious, with the preparation, recovery of the body and everything, which I suppose it has to be because the season is so condensed.
But this gap back in the day, it was a nice little 2-dayer, like. It was. You'd be Sunday night, you get back up the road pronto, and then Monday you'd be going WhatsApp, be buzzing there around late morning. We'll have a couple of pints. Back in the gym on Tuesday, doing a bit of rolling.
Very important.
Doing a bit of rehab in the gym on the Tuesday.
Very important in the foundation of a winning squad. But yeah, no, that was a big result for me. I haven't clocked it up, but yet another game for Dermot McCabe's team, whether it was Westmeath last year or Cavan this year, that they've lost late on. And we'll get to Derry in a moment, who ended their long streak. But you'd have to feel for him. Like, he's been so close in so many different games in the last 12, 13 months. And yet they keep just falling short. They had the Cork game. I think they were maybe 5 or 6 up at one stage late on. Obviously, Sherlock kicked that last 2-pointer. And then with 68 minutes on the clock, they're a point up here. James, what are you seeing with Cavan? Like, are they a million miles off here, or like did they just? What was it like late on? What was it today against Meath?
I actually haven't seen much of Cavan. I've only seen just the last 10 minutes of today's game.
Oh yes, sorry, you were on the move today.
I was. So, well, I suppose I genuinely don't know, but that is a sucker punch. When they could have had 4 points on the board. So to have none, it's put Cork and it's put Meath in an unbelievable position. Like,
but on the other side, Jimmy, that puts Cavan in relegation trouble.
I know, but they seem to have
your first 2 games. The story.
They have enough. They have more.
Margins.
Yeah.
It's a tight division. Division 2.
They
got to play Tyrone and Derry as well. You will be, 2 teams you back.
That was a good result for.
Margins are so fine.
It's a good result for Meath and for Cork. The Derry Tyrone result. Like we kind of backed Tyrone and Derry to get promoted out of this. I don't know, did you say, Paddy, not Derry maybe, but
I'd
I'm
question
thinking
Derry.
that's
I thought
already.
Tyrone would definitely go up. Yeah,
I,
but maybe.
I
Yeah.
think that's already looking unlikely now. You know,
Kildare looking good as well, like
yeah,
9-point win last night against Offaly.
yeah, very hard division to call. Very hard division to call.
Best
Yeah,
one. Best
Kildare.
one.
Can I just make a wee point here on Kildare, right? Sitting pretty at last night at the top of Division 2. What Brian Flanagan has done now with his 2 under-20 panels from 2022 and 2023 is so interesting, because obviously we're talking a lot about Tyrone and then Blood and their new boys. But Kildare, let's not forget, reached an All-Ireland final in 22. They lost to Tyrone. And in 2023, they got back to the All-Ireland final under 20s in Bet Sligo. 9 players from those 2 panels have started their opening 2 league games here. You've got Cian Burke in goals, Harry O'Neill and Ryan Burke in the full back line, Brendan Gibbons in midfield and Callum Bolton in the half forward line, Dara Swords around the half forward line, James Harris around the half back line, Owen Cully in the full forward line, Ryan Sinky in the half forward line, and Dara Crowley is featured as well. Like that is a serious amount of, I suppose, youth that's been blooded there. And across the panel, there's another 10, 11, 12 players involved that have got game time in the last, I suppose, year under Brian Flanagan.
I think that's actually a common thing of very strong teams, is that the bulk of them come from similar age, that like they've played together for a long time, they have a great relationship, they know each other inside out. That could be very powerful going forward for them if that's the little circle of their whole panel. And obviously the quality is there. If you're getting to 20s finals, not easy to get there.
Absolutely not. And then obviously we got to talk about Derry, lads, right? Stretching back to June 2024, where they lost to Kerry in the All-Ireland quarter-final by 5 points. That was game 1. Game 2 was a defeat to Tyrone. They lost by 7. Game 3 was Kerry again in the league by 3. They drew with Galway in their 4th run without a winner. They lost to the Dubs in their 5th game. Donegal in their 6th game, Mayo in their 7th game, 8 games without a win. They lose to Armagh. They get hammered by Donegal in the Ulster Premier League quarter final by 10 points. That's game number 9. Game number 10 is Armagh again. They then draw with Galway in the group stages. They lose to Dublin at the end of the group stages. And the 13th game. The 13th game. Yeah, they did. They did. The 13th game was obviously Meath last week, that they were, looking good at times, but fell away towards the end. And finally, they beat Tyrone at the weekend. Conor Glass, man of the match. He's got so good at that goal, James. He did it in the All-Ireland Club final. He did it to Tyrone last year, where he's just coming through like a train, and he's not afraid to go for goal from 20-odd yards.
Risk reward, Tommy, baby. It pays off. It pays off sometimes. It pays off when it matters. But the strength they have in midfield, Rodgers and Conor Glass, that's their engine room. That's, it's what your Brendan was talking about. That's where you need some big players, leadership, responsibility taken. Those 2 boys drive it on, with McGinless. And Doherty was unbelievable as well at 5.
He was class.
Had a great game. I think he ended up man of the match today.
No, Conor Glass actually got man of the match. But I nearly would have given it to Paddy McGrogan, who in that half back line too. They're such a good half back line. Yeah,
they're brilliant. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're outstanding. I'm glad they got that monkey off the back, because I think they can kick on. They have so much quality there. It's just about maybe each result was getting, more baggage on their shoulders, more weight on their shoulders. When are we going to finish this run? And, that wouldn't have been the most obvious game that they were going to end the run. So the fact they've done it in that one, they'll be buzzing. They'll have a good bank holiday now and they'll be back at it. But I think it might be a corner turn for them. Yeah, they still need to loosen up a bit in attack. I was watching that game on Saturday night. They still need to express themselves a little bit more.
But didn't Lachlan Murray show his class immediately? Like he puts a ball over the bar and he sets up a goal chance inside the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, he actually epitomizes what I mean. He's able to drop a shoulder, take someone on, do something different, spark a bit of life in. It's the hand passing across the field that seems to slow down their attacks. And even Paddy said it with Galway today. When that happened to Galway, it stopped them being penetrative or being able to score. When you're going across the field, it makes it so much harder, and teams are so able to defend that.
Anything catch the eye from Tyrone? Obviously, they're blooding a lot of young fellas. They would have had promotion in their plans, but they're in a tough spot at the minute. Young Ronan Cassidy, wing back, has impressed. They brought in Conor O'Neill, one of the other boys from the 20s, into midfield the last day. We know what McElhone can do, but we're just not really seeing it from their forwards at the minute, apart from Ethan Jordan, who's in his mid-20s and had been playing soccer the last little while. Has this guy got enough, James? Like he hit 1-9
Yeah.
the last day, 5. He sets up the goal. I love the little quick free he took.
I think he does. And this is the time to grow. This is the time to get your confidence up to, to try some things. Make your case for a spot. But I just think that Tyrone are missing a focal point of attack. With Derek Hanavan, you need to kick him the ball. You need to let him spill a few and gather it again. And he needs to be worked to the bone for his scores. He doesn't want to be on the loop, and he's not that type of player. So they need a ball winner at 14 to bring it all together for them. I don't see their cohesion in attack at the moment either. I think Derry kick 115, Tyrone kick 112.
Yeah, it's low.
You have to get to the 20 points minimum 20 these days. I know the conditions probably weren't great above, but if you're not getting to the 20 regularly, you're going to be cut out.
Yeah. Joe Murphy's Carlow are top of Division 4. They have had 2 brilliant wins now against Antrim and then Wicklow at the weekend. Wicklow having a late goal disallowed, but that is just huge for a squad that were in disarray, I suppose, this time last year. London with another big win as well. They won this weekend. They bet Longford, and Tipperary beating Antrim is probably one that nobody saw coming. So Antrim are bottom of that division now under Mark Doran. So disappointing result for Antrim there today, away to Tipperary. In Division 3, James, Wexford, another Leinster side. So we have another Leinster team right at the top of Division 3. They're locked on 4 points alongside Westmeath and Down, but they are soaring away in terms of scoring difference. They gave Laois a real clipping the other night. Darragh Brooks, their goalkeeper, hit 7 points. And Shane Nolan, their forward, also hit 7 points as well. So doing really well. And Down just about survived their trip to Rathkeel in Limerick. Not many people come out of Rathkeel in Limerick unscathed on the football field, is what I'm saying. Down there and Shane Annett hit the winner late on there.
Careful there, Tom.
I know. I got probably flirting with a line there, haven't I? Don't know where I was going with that. And quite often, you go into Cusack Park in Ennis and you could be under a bit of pressure, but Westmeath have thrown off the shackles and they've won another game. They're 219 to 117, so a big win for Mark McHugh's crowd. And Sligo's 119 to 15 win against Fermanagh has sort of got them back on track as well. So big results there in Division 3 and Division 4. Any other footballers catching your eye, James, just before we go from the weekend? You mentioned Shane McGrath earlier. He had a massive week. He had a big impact off the bench for Galway, scored a goal against Mayo. He kicks the winner in the Sigerson Cup for Galway with a 2-pointer late on as well on Wednesday, and then obviously has a big impact off the bench against Armagh and wins that late free. Ben McLaughlin from Kildare kicked 9 points last week from play, 5 points this week from play. Darragh Byrne, as you mentioned, from Mayo. There are plenty of young footballers catching the eye at the moment. There is,
and the standard has gone through the roof for this time of year. I did say that the skills, the balls haven't been brought out of the bags in a lot of places. In terms of you're putting your 20 minutes in before training, maybe 20 minutes after. I heard McGuinness talking about Rorty, that he's working on the right leg, and he's out there kicking points, with the bad leg, trying to get it right, trying to add something to his set. That's what it's all about. This time of year, just get a couple of things extra into the bag that will do you for the summer.
Are you back running yet in the Legion?
Yeah, I haven't gone back now myself yet. It's a bit early yet. I do have to time it. But
you do.
I've done a bit of work now, in fairness, on a few different things. So I'm looking forward to getting back. I've been inspired by the Gaeltacht and by some older fellas, Paul Geaney included. My age, still delivering, still something to offer. So, it's nice to get back in with the lads as well. Because when you step away from football, your access to fun and young fellas and 30 lads having a bit of crack is gone. It's fine to say, I'm going to get into coaching and things, but then you're not quite part of the crew. So I'll hang in there for one more year.
Oh, definitely.
What about you, Tom? You're still cracking on? Are you back?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. We've been kind of collectively, I won't give away any trade secrets, but doing a couple of collective sessions, not your usual off-season work, but as a group, we've been doing a few bits over the last couple of weeks.
Boxing?
And no, not boxing, not far off it though. But
MMA?
No.
Wrestling?
I wouldn't. Wouldn't go that
Few
far.
takedowns.
It's a bit more work on the core, a little less on your feet. So I'll leave that with you and see, can you guess what we've been up to? But we got the note last week, poll in the WhatsApp group. We're going running this Tuesday and Thursday. Pick your times, pick your poison, enjoy. So I think February is going to be tough, but you know what? I'm looking forward to being the far end of February and feeling a bit better. When you get the running into you. I know there's a bit of kind of, I'm going to be showing up the first week or two, but once you get through the first couple of weeks, you start feeling good and you're back in your good habits. And he's back. He's put the kids to bed. Paddy Andrews, we're just saying goodbye. We're just saying
I had the
good luck.
AirPods in. I could hear all of that. I was upstairs with Edie. And my key takeaways as a silent observer there. Tommy, rat kill, you are fucked. That was crazy commentary. I was rocking Edie to sleep, and I was like, he's going to be sued by the Limerick County Council. That's where Jimmy lives now. You cannot be saying
I've got
things
buddies.
like that.
I've got buddies.
Hometown.
I've got buddies teaching there. And the Mick Neville Park is a great setup. It's just very hard to come out with a win.
What was the second thing?
Your thing should be about when you step away, trust me, there's no crack here, lad. No crack. 2 kids gone to bed.
Stay involved.
I'm going back playing. I am Mitchell. I'm ringing Ger Brennan going, Ger, if you're been loads of fellas, bring me back.
I heard what you said. I heard what you said, Ger.
Yeah.
I've got the
you
one.
missed the crack. You missed the crack.
Yeah.
All you club players out there, play. Keep playing, baby. Just keep going.
Keep going. I think that's why.
But Raquel, Tommy, official apology tomorrow morning.
Oh my God.
I didn't mean it like that.
Newcastle.
I didn't mean it like that. Boys, anyway, I'm going to let you go.
Good
Sunday night. Good night. Good luck. Take care. Thanks, boys, for doing it tonight. And thanks for tuning in, folks. Talk to you soon.
Never again. Good night.